I would say to your audience, maybe other folks who are thinking about starting a business, I think optimism it's an imperative.
Yeah, I agree.
At the same time, the odds are against us. You know, Daniel Kahneman famously wrote that only 35% of small businesses survive past 5 years.
Yeah.
35%. And yet, if you take 100 entrepreneurs who are considering starting a business, over 80% will think that they're going to be successful and get past that 5-year mark.
Yeah.
And there's a percentage that say that there's a 0% chance of failure. And yet we know only 35% will make it.
Spotlights on, the moment's here. Voices of change, rising clear, leading with heart, fearless and bright, purpose and passion, light in the night. From the boardroom to the block, moving mountains, breaking locks with Taji, Sherry, we rise. Real talk, real life, real highs. So step in the light while leaders grow. This is Leaders in the Spotlight. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to Leaders in the Spotlight, where we dive into the highs, lows, and plot twists of leadership. I am Taiji Charity, your host, and today's guest, y'all, is my friend, Craig Shimahara. He is the founder and CEO of Shimahara Visual, a full-service creative agency specializing in property marketing and architectural visualization. With studios in Los Angeles, New York, and Boston, Craig is a Presidential Award Recipient of the AIA Los Angeles chapter, a winner of Gensler's Award for Excellence in Visual Communication, and garnered Best Original Screenplay honors at the Montreal Cinefest for his 2015 featured film, Masterless. Partnering with his wife, Lorraine, he is currently co-producing the nonprofit social justice documentary, Architecture of Hope, which showcases international solutions to homelessness, and it's narrated by the one and only Angela Bassett. He holds a master's degree in architecture from UCLA and lives in Santa Monica with Lorraine and their beautiful teenage children. Craig, welcome to the show.
Taji, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, I'm excited because I've been waiting a long time to get you here. Thank you again. I'm so excited. I'm ready to dive in all things leadership. When did you first know that you were a leader?
Yeah, you know, I guess bossing people around when I was a kid doesn't count, right?
That counts.
No, I had a few brushes with leadership in my college and grad school days, and even when I first started working in the field of architecture. But I can tell you, I really didn't know what leadership was at the time. It wasn't until I first started serving on the board of our church, the church that Lorraine and I went to shortly after being married, that I had the first study of leadership. I'd never studied leadership as a conference, but the chair of our board, he walked us through a couple of books on leadership, and it was just eye-opening. I'd never looked at different forms or models of leadership.
You sort of carved your own way.
I stumbled through my own way, I suppose. But actually looking at leadership in such a focused way, it represented an inflection point in my career as a leader, and it's been a lifelong learning experience ever since.
So when did you decide architecture was the lane that you wanted your professional career to sort of, be the North Star for you? In undergrad, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Sound like me.
like a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you say the same thing, but I tell young folks, you don't have to have it all figured out so early, and I certainly did not. Fortunately, I started dating Lorraine.
And let me just throw this in there. Lorraine is my prayer partner, y'all. I just got to throw that in there. We love her, but go ahead.
Absolutely. She was. She knew me well at an early age. We were dating college, and she knew what I leaned towards and where my strengths were. And she said, "Craig, why don't you just go into architecture?
Wow.
You have these artistic skills, but you're a good planner. You're very organized, and you have what it takes to be an architect. as far as she knew, as far as we both knew at 20 years old or whatever it was. And I resisted it, Taiji, for a long time. I had not thought of myself in that way, but I'll never forget, there was a phone conversation and she said it for the 14th time, and I was like, you know what? I think you're right. And something snapped, and it's just been gangbusters ever since.
See, man, if you agree with us sooner, you can save yourself a lot of time, okay?
That's true.
That's amazing. So when did you actually start your own business? And tell us more about your business. And then we'll go into, because you do nonprofit work through the new film, Architecture of Hope, so we want to dive into that as well. But tell us about your business.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned in the intro, it is a creative agency that specializes in property marketing and architectural visualization. That's a mouthful, and really think of it as producing commercials for buildings. When there's a building that needs to be sold either as a concept to the city or for trying to pre-lease a property, owners, developers come to us to do the visualization and to do the marketing. So if you drive around town and there's an empty plot of land, and then on the construction fence you see a rendering or an illustration of what that property is going to be, that's what we produce. It's not built yet. We take the 3D models from the architects and we render them with the same technology used for video games or film, visual effects, and we create what will be one day. On top of that, we brand the projects. There's so much competition in architecture nowadays.
Even with AI though, is that also creating competition with folks using AI?
You think it would, but it's really been one of those, it's another tool that we're able to use
to help enhance the work that you do. It
enhances it, but more than that, it speeds it up. It's an amazing efficient tool. And in the beginning, I would say in 2023 was when AI kind of hit the scene on a very popular scale. It was a little scary for a lot of our artists, but like many threats in the industry, we've been able to absorb that and align with the trajectory of that technology and use it to improve what we do.
Because it can never replace the knowledge, the skills, the experience of humans actually creating this architectural landscape.
In the ways that are important, it can't. You know, it does quite a bit. It does quite a bit, I'll tell you. But the key is to not be afraid of it and to embrace it.
I love that. So starting out, though, I mean, because it takes an enormous amount of courage and faith to launch your own business. What was that journey like for you?
It wasn't as scary as you might think. We were young. We didn't have kids. And I'm just an optimist. So
I like that.
I'll before I get into some of the details of starting the actual business, I would say to your audience, maybe other folks who are thinking about starting a business, I think optimism it's an imperative.
Yeah, I agree.
At the same time, the odds are against us. Daniel Kahneman famously wrote that only 35% of small businesses survive past 5 years. 35%. And yet, if you take 100 entrepreneurs who are considering starting a business, over 80% will think that they're going to be successful and get past that 5-year mark. And there's a percentage that say that there's a 0% chance of failure. And yet we know only 35% will make it. Facing those odds, why would anyone, or most people would probably think twice, but we don't. You need that. You need that optimism, but I would say plan ahead. Have a contingency. Keep that fire going. But just make sure that you have a contingency plan. And mine was Lorraine. we were young.
That's a good plan.
Well, she's a great partner in everything we do. She encouraged me to, start this business, and She was working at the time, and we didn't have kids, and so it was a decent risk.
Yeah.
If you started later, you might have more to risk. You have to plan ahead a little better.
Yeah.
So it just depends on where you are.
Yeah, that's good. And you have 3 locations, right? You're in Los Angeles, New York, and Boston.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing. So from there to creating a nonprofit, Architecture of Hope. Talk to us a little bit about your mission for Architecture of Hope, and why did you decide to focus on homelessness? I mean, besides the obvious, right? We're in Los Angeles, but just want to hear it from you.
Well, this is funny. I'm going to repeat myself so much here today, but it's the truth.
That's all right. That's how we learn repetitiveness, okay?
Well, then one of the messages of this chat, Taiji, is that you should really listen to your partner. Lorraine, it was on her heart. We live in Santa Monica. Homelessness is all around. Every part of LA, you'll find spots. And it's just something you can't ignore. And so Lorraine actually wanted to create a film that would address this issue, educate folks, and also shed hope. And so I was helping her trying to find a director, because I was focused on other projects. And we found some people who were interested, but it didn't quite work out. And finally I said, Lorraine, I'll direct it. And she said no.
Hilarious.
She said no. But I'm very persistent. And we eventually decided to partner on this. It's been a long haul. It's 7 years still going, and we're barely starting, it feels like.
Wow.
It's a very difficult process, filmmaking, as you probably know.
Yes.
But we're not giving up. We're still doing it.
Yes, but you did your first film, Masterless, right?
Yes.
Did you direct that one as well?
Yes.
So how did you go from architecture to filmmaking? I mean, that's an interesting, like 2 sides of the coin almost. So what sparked the filmmaking piece?
Yeah, it's kind of complicated, huh? It sounds like a convoluted story, but really, to me, it was a very natural progression in terms of a career. I love architecture, and my business is in architecture still. But when I was in grad school, I just recognized how much I loved film. In fact, my thesis project was kind of the intersection between architecture and film.
Okay.
Well, we got married. I started working, fantastic office in architecture in Los Angeles. But one day I just, it wasn't really one day, it was kind of like I said, a gradual process. I realized, I love this work, but I want to do film. The stories I want to tell, they're larger, or I should say different than the stories you can tell in architecture. Architecture is an art form, but the medium is glass, steel, concrete, and it's a very esoteric language. And really, architects are speaking to each other, and it's a beautiful art form. But it is not as accessible. What is more accessible than film? Film is so emotive. Right, and can grab people and can communicate artfully and powerfully. I love the subtleties of design and architecture, but I guess I have a real zeal for film. And so again, for me, it was a natural transition because there are so many overlaps between the idea of designing, planning a building, and then designing and planning a film.
Wow.
And all of it is wrapped in a high degree of artistry.
Yes, I love that. So what's your hope for the film?
For Architecture of Hope, the goal is to invigorate housing policy. Excuse me, to invigorate housing policy in the States and here in Los Angeles, hopefully.
So when can we expect to see it? And you got Angela Bassett to be the narrator. That's a win-win right there, okay?
Yeah, you'd think that would open all the doors, right? The problem is that every film project has an Angela Bassett a character, or it's really difficult to get distribution.
Yes.
And so we have. She's been a great partner in the project, but we still are looking for other partners, funding producers, and the like. And so we are currently working on our third pitch, putting together a sizzle reel and a deck to shop this project around again, try to get some partners.
Yeah.
And we hope to shoot by first or second quarter of next year. That'd be the goal.
Okay. And is it a documentary type movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Feature documentary.
Documentaries are, they're so educational, which is the purpose of documentaries. And you're finding more and more, especially on the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
A lot of them now have just a category of documentaries. I'm constantly seeing new documentaries. So that's really good, a good platform and a good way to educate people regarding the homelessness, and to also use it as policy change is what your ultimate goal is.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And so have you started shooting any of the project yet? Or are you going to be hopefully starting? I know you said you have a sizzle reel, or you're working on the sizzle reel.
We're working on it, and we did shoot some footage in 2021.
Okay.
Since the pandemic, it's actually been easier to conduct interviews online. So these are, I guess I would call them pre-interviews. We are finding subjects, different experts on housing policy, or NGOs, people who work directly with people experiencing homelessness.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get them on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And say, let's have this conversation. Let's start this conversation. Once we get the green light on the project, we'll fly you into Los Angeles, and we'll shoot you right here. We'll film
at the kids' production studio.
Yes.
Hold on, let me drink to that. I like that idea. Yeah. Okay. No, that's amazing. The goal hopefully is to get a national distribution partner, so that once it's ready, it has this global audience. Do you have a fundraising component attached to it now, where people could actually donate money towards homelessness? Are you partnering with any organization that have a homelessness program or anything like that? Or is it really just focused on policy holders, getting them to reallocate funds or think differently about homelessness?
We actually have a very strong partnership with the Union Rescue Mission downtown.
That's a great, yes.
In fact, that's who introduced us to Angela Bassett.
Okay.
But they're not a financial partner.
Okay.
So we support each other how we can. Yeah. But the goal this time around will be to approach foundations first. Once we get some momentum there, then we can go to our the different distributors and producers that we've tried in the past.
Okay.
And the thing about those folks is leadership is always changing there.
Yes.
So even though we struck out with 9 different pitches with the likes of HBO and Apple and these guys, we got some great meetings. They all passed on the project, but as far as we know, there's been a lot of change.
Yes.
And maybe there'll be someone open this time when we have a little more momentum.
You guys hear that, right? We need some funding and some connections, the right connections. Right. And it's a 501c3. You have it set up as an actual 501c3. So you hear that when you make a donation, you get a tax write-off. So let's keep an eye on Architecture of Hope. So, and it's of hope or for hope?
Of hope.
Of hope. Okay, yes. Architecture of Hope. So we'll definitely tag that too, so that we can point people. Do you have a website for it? Or what's the website?
architectureofhope.org.
architectureofhope.org. So we'll make sure to tag that as well. So I want to know, just in terms of your team for your company, how many team members do you have?
30 staff members.
30 staff members.
Yes.
And what is it like leading a team of 30 staff members? Because that can be challenging in and of itself. When you have to make some really tough decisions, especially when the economy is, unpredictable sometimes. What is the culture, I should say, of your team?
Well, the culture is highly collaborative.
That's great.
Shimahara, yeah, I mean, it's key. It's fundamental. We like to say that we hire, we interview for portfolio, but we hire for personhood.
Oh,
So-
I like that. Hold on. Say that one more time.
We interview for portfolio, meaning that there's a minimum threshold of skill
Yeah.
that we need to see in someone's work before we even set up an interview. So the portfolio has to be good enough to attract our attention, but we hire for personhood. So
like that.
after we confirm that they actually did the work that they're showing us and talk to them about process, and we really kind of hone in on what do we think this person can offer in terms of EQ, the
Yeah,
emotional
emotional-
quotient.
oh, yeah, okay.
What is the fit with
Yeah.
the team? That is actually more important than the skill.
Yeah.
Because
How
we-
long?
well,
oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
Oh, we can train someone. They have a certain amount of ability and tools.
Yeah.
When they're with us for 6 to 8 months, they can acclimate to and raise the bar with us.
Yeah. How difficult is it to actually find that right person? And what happens when you think you hired the right person, but it turns out they may not be the right person? How do you navigate that?
Yeah, that is a trick, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is so difficult because people can interview very well.
Yes.
There's like a talent to interviewing, and then once you have the job, we see the real, the truth comes out.
Right.
And that has happened.
Yeah.
And I've had to make some difficult adjustments and have some difficult conversations over the years. And that is the hardest part of the job, I think.
Yes.
Is parting ways.
Yeah.
It's even harder when, as you say, the economy kind of gets in the way.
It does
And
sometimes.
so layoffs, and architecture is particularly susceptible to the vagaries of the economy. So over the years, we've had to do it a number of times, and like in waves, and that is brutal. That is brutal. And in any crisis, what has to happen is you have to draw close to those who you really trust and are close to you, and then make these decisions together. I really believe that. When you start doing things unilaterally, where there's no or little transparency, there's a lot of unknown, and people, that's the worst situation.
Yeah.
People will deal with a difficult personality more than they will with not knowing what's going on. And so I like to include my leaders in terms of what changes need to be made, what cuts need to be made, so that they understand what's happening, and we move forward together after we get through all that.
So transparency is very beneficial.
It's key.
Yeah, I like that. How does your faith contributes to your leadership style? Because you are a man of faith.
Yes. Yeah.
And your wife is a woman of faith, because she's my prayer partner. I said that, right? Really proud about that. And she's been my prayer partner for several years. We're sitting in a studio that she and I prayed for, and some other, just areas in life where we can really have those vulnerable conversations and lift each other up. But how does your faith play into your leadership style?
Faith is, it drives me. It's foundational.
Yeah.
In terms of leadership style, that's a tough one, because Christ as a model was an incredible servant leader.
Yes.
There's no question about that. And so some of that definitely lends itself to the way that I deal with the staff.
Yeah.
I guess it's a difficult question, because as an employer, there are certain partitions that I need to keep up in terms of the staff. Just to share with you, I used to have Monday morning prayer session with some of my team. But I heard that it started to make some folks uncomfortable, and I love all these guys.
Yeah.
I never ask about someone's faith.
Yeah.
So as much as that meant to me, I couldn't stand to make
someone else uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Understand that.
But I would say to try to answer your question, the model of servanthood in leadership has just always been important, but has grown over the years to be an imperative.
I agree 101% to that. And yeah. Well, I mean, I love the fact that I'm sure all of your team knows your heart as a leader, and you modeling servant leadership in front of them speaks volumes, right? So if we asked a couple of your employees, how would you describe Craig? What would they say?
What would they? I know what I'd want them to say. But
I know that's right. I got a list of adjectives. Just don't ask my studio manager, okay? But go ahead.
No, I wonder, what would they say? I guess that that I was humble. That I'm humble. I really do try to model that, and try to impress upon the team. Humility is one of our values that we talk about. I would say, I was going to say persistent, but I think a better word would be perseverant.
That's good.
More goal-oriented, and principled.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And when you say some of your core values, what are your core values at your company? And I'm sure those core values are also the same core values probably for Architecture of Hope as well. Or are they different?
Well, I actually think they're slightly different.
Okay.
And they're different than the values that I personally have for leadership.
Okay.
Because I mean, and those values for leadership are different than purpose in life. I think there are different quivers of core concepts for different aspects of life.
Okay.
When you're talking about the workplace.
Yes.
We have a highly collaborative culture. We have a great bunch of artists. As a team, we came together and we tried to distill our company values, and we came up with 5. And the company logo actually has 5 circles, and each corresponds to one of these values.
Okay.
It's devotion, which is another way of saying just that we care for each other. We're devoted to each other, devoted to our work, devoted to our clients.
That's good.
Artistry is key to our business, and it is something that we all are, no matter, even if you're an administrator. There's an art to what you do, right?
Yeah.
Growth is incredibly important. As a leader, I need to stay ahead of everyone on the team.
Absolutely.
But it may be, let me clarify that a little bit. If you have highly skilled people, oftentimes they will focus on their work, and that's all they want to do.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking about their careers necessarily. And if they're willing, I think it's a benefit to them to suggest a vision for them, to stay ahead of them. Because I think I've seen people where if you stay in that position too long, you get burned out, or you get bored, or you want to move on. Stay ahead, give them a vision so that they have someplace to go, and align that with the company vision. And then you have a kind of a autocatalytic process, a synergistic process.
No, that's amazing, because when you said growth, I was thinking something totally different. I was thinking from the perspective of leaders having to look at everything from a bird's eye view, and growth in terms of the organization as a whole. But you're talking about growth as the individual. I like that a lot.
There are 2 scales when I talk about vision and growth, and that, of course, it is the overall organization and the company where you're headed. But another scale is at the individual level, the staff member, the team member.
Yeah.
When you align their growth with the growth of the company, then it's powerful.
Win-win.
It's
yes, that's a win-win for everyone.
To round out the values, Taiji, it's growth, and then teamsmanship. That is an imperative for us, that we all work well together, have the high EQ that I mentioned, and then humility. Humility is something that we practice with each other and with our clients, our partners, and it's pervasive in terms of our culture.
That's good. Teammanship.
Yes.
I like that. What wisdom now would you encourage young people to consider when they're starting a business? Like now that you're successful, your business is how many years?
25.
25 years now
Yeah.
into this. What do you wish you had known then that you actually know now?
You know, there's so much to learn as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a business person.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's so much there's so much information out there available to us.
Because the world has changed drastically. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with books and consultants and online.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the seminars, leadership and social media and everything. It's overwhelming.
So utilizing the tools that's available.
Well, what I would say is to be careful with that.
That's even better.
Well,
yes.
I mean, it's all great. All that information is great. I mean, I would say that all the cliches are true. You know, I mean, you go online and you search for the top 10 best practices for emerging leaders, and you'll find over 100 lists or a couple hundred lists. I've never done it.
True.
There's probably 1,000, right? But I guarantee that a lot of them there'll be some redundancy.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will say something like trust and integrity. But you know, I can read that and it may not have that much meaning. So what I would say is that rely on your experience. You know, that's how you generate conviction. I think is from your experiences.
Yeah.
Stay curious. Good. You know, look at all that stuff. It's great information, but it's all true. It's all good.
Yeah.
The trick is to find, you know, extract the nuggets, and I think it's buttressed by your experiences. Let me give you a story.
Yes.
About that.
Yes.
So when I was a young designer at this multinational architecture firm, I was working with a project manager, just the two of us, and we were working on let's call it Scheme A. For a building, and I was working hard, you know, really having a great time. We would discuss the project. He would give me some direction and go away. I would keep going, and he'd come back. We'd refine it, working towards a deadline. So as we get close to delivery, the managing partner of the office comes to my desk and takes a look at the work and says, "Hey, Craig, I thought we were working on Scheme B." And my project manager, the guy I had been working with, was right there, and he said, "Yeah, you know, you're right. We were supposed to be working on Scheme B." And I was stunned because I didn't even know what happened. Actually, it took me a while to realize that this guy that I'd been working with, not only did he lie, he essentially threw me under the bus.
Wow.
And that experience forever changed my relationship with that project manager.
I'm sure.
And I think I mentioned something about observing leadership.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of that. That experience, it created a conviction in me that whoever I work with, they need to be able to trust me.
Yes.
And that if we're working on something together, that you know, we're working together. I've got their back. I'll defend them.
Yes.
And I could have read that online somewhere, that trust is important, but it would never resonate. I would never have been able to internalize it,
right?
Unless I've had that experience.
Wow, that is so good, because you could have gone in one or two directions. You could have modeled that leadership because, oh, this is how we do business. So using that same sort of method where I can not practice integrity in my part with whomever I'm working with, but because of your faith, you knew that's not the right experience, that's not a good feeling, and that's not how we should do business. Because business is built on trust. Working relationships are built on trust. So that is an excellent example. Thank you for that. One last question before I have to land this plane, because they told me I had 5 minutes. I want to know, who are some of the leaders you admire?
Well, it's funny because I'm talking about experiences versus, say, more of a academic study. I think they're both good.
Yes.
I think books and consultants and seminars are fantastic. So
Absolutely.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
I mentioned that I first started to study leadership on the board of my church, and one of the books we were looking at was Good to Great by an author, Jim Collins. And,
yes, I read that one.
Yeah, it's and that was foundational for me.
Yes.
And so I've never met this person. I just read his one book. He's had several books, but that's kind of like the Bible of business management for the last 25 years or whatever it's been.
Excellent book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I still keep a lot of those core ideas as part of my quiver. But in terms of someone I've worked with, when I was at that same firm, there was a design director there, the guy who actually hired me, who was a phenomenal leader for a whole host of reasons. But one of them was that he really cared for us, made me feel special, like I had something to contribute, listened, and he was also the most talented designer in the whole firm.
Wow.
And so he was inspirational as well as just very encouraging.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Craig. I'm so excited. I have been, like I said, I've been waiting for this interview. I love your work. I've had a chance to witness your designs, and it's just phenomenal. And I'm just so encouraged by all that you do, and looking forward to Architecture of Hope, the movie. So we're going to be raising some money. Raising some money, people. So we're looking forward to seeing that, hopefully sooner than later.
Taiji, thanks so much for having me here. It's been such an honor. It's been so great. This place is fantastic. I'm going to bring a project here.
Yeah, please do. Anytime. I'm going to drink to all of that too. But guys, I hope you enjoyed today's session with Craig, a phenomenal leader. We will make sure to drop all of his contact information for his businesses in the chat. So please do those 3 magical words: like, share, and subscribe. And also catch us on Got One TV. Our new episodes are up every week. So until next time, have an amazing day and enjoy your leadership journey. Bye now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. I hope you were inspired and you gained some valuable nuggets that will help you to become a better leader and to walk in your God-given authority. Bye until next time.